Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Max at NDE. I'm here with Jeannie Nichols, and I think
Good morning.
Jenny Carter should be joining us pretty soon here.
She's just leaving another meeting.
First of all, like we do each time, please put your name and location in the chat window, just so we record that. All right, update on our progress. We're almost have every district connecting and sending student data. I see that Millard has now gotten in and sent some data for the first time. So glad to have you off the list, Dan. So just a couple of updates for today's meeting. The work days are now in progress. NDE met with several ESU people who are helping to host work days. And we worked out the agenda for the work days. It's covering the advisor validation site, including the errors. I will get into that later. There is a section of the work days where we have Wade from ESUCC, I think, going to the meetings or connecting over Zoom to do some training about how SRS works with advisor, and some piece of work about the dashboard, specifically getting everyone access to the dashboard and connected, making sure the SSO and all the various pieces are working to get into the dashboard. So I haven't been going to these work days, but Jenny is here. She has been, you went to several. How are things going at the work days?
The work days started this last week. I think they're going real good. We have the virtual support team, the ESU member that is familiar with the SIS connection to the Ed5 product, making sure everybody's working. We're making sure everybody can get into the dashboard, that their SSO is working. We're reviewing errors. We're reviewing verification reports. I think everything's going real well.
All right. Good to hear.
We'll try to have an NDE person there along with the ESU people if possible. There's a few that we can't get both, but it's going good.
Just a reminder, if anyone here isn't aware, almost all the ESUs are having a work day. Contact your ESU, or I believe we have them listed on the calendar under the advisor Google site. The data conference, I'm bringing it up again just to let you know that we've posted more data out on the site since I think the last time I looked at it.
Or will be coming very soon.
Well, we do have a schedule on here now, which I'm sure that was there before.
The session descriptions and the complete schedule will be posted by tomorrow.
Okay. So, we've got some keynote speakers from EdFi and the Dell Foundation. Dr. Lee Jenkins, I think it's a education-related speaker. The first day we will be covering a lot of the broad advisor stuff that we want everyone to know. That 4 to 5 p.m. slot is when we are splitting up to have meetings with the vendors, so everyone can go to meet with their vendor for a hands-on session. Amy asked where will this be posted?
On this page, right under conference links, go up, go down, go back down. Right where it says conference links, right there, I will post the session descriptions and the complete at a glance agenda.
And if you're wondering how to get to that page, you could just go to NDE's homepage, and it has a link.
Scroll back up, you missed it.
Right there. Yeah.
Right there.
It has a link right on our homepage at the moment. So.
We just remind everybody that this is a data conference, like it was a couple of years ago. So all of the sessions will pertain to the data people. So the data stewards, administrators, the counselors, vet people. This is all information for the people that are doing the data reporting, verification. So it is very important to come and listen, so your transition from NSSRS to advisor does go smoothly.
Yes.
And then, so yeah, the second day are when the breakout sessions are. I don't know every session off the top of my head, but I know I am giving 2 sessions about advisor validation and data checking, 1 session about attendance under advisor, 1 session where we're about the virtual support team and support and JIPIT. A lot of NDE people are providing the sessions.
Session on what's going to stay the same. That would be your staff, your unique ID, the discipline, the SPED, all areas of data reporting
Will be covered on the second day in the breakout sessions, and those descriptions will be coming out tomorrow.
Tina's asking about districts who are changing SISs. Definitely, I would say every district should attend this. As to those who are switching SISs, generally I think that means just the ones switching off of Sycamore this year. Yeah, they should probably go and attend the session for who they're switching to. I believe everyone switching off of Sycamore has picked a new vendor at this point. So about the dashboard, I'm just keeping that link up, the reminder about checking your staff data if anyone here is new, which I think a few people are looking at the list. Under the advisor validation website, there is one staff report, verification report posted, and that report will tell you what staff data you sent up from your SIS and which controls who gets into your dashboard. So you can see all of that ahead of time. We've been working on some dashboard fixes now to make sure it's functional enough for our purposes with the work days and testing this spring. So the 2 biggest bugs have been fixed out there. So at this point, yeah, if your access is all set up, you should be able to get into the dashboard and at least poke around in there. The next fixes we have coming up on our list is adding the NWA map data, which we are working on right now. And there's some changes that need to happen with the attendance rates and courses/grades that are posted on the in the student data sections. So those are on our list to look at in the near future. Of course, as people start to use the dashboard more, we expect we will probably find some more issues. And just if you ever have an issue with the dashboard or the advisor validation site, just send us an email, advisorhelp@nebraskacloud.org, and we have tickets to track everything that gets reported there. Just an update about that non-reportable schools form. We've had a few people submit those. As of this morning, anyone who submitted this form I have added those schools to the list, so you can now try to send your data in without getting an error about a bad school ID. So the advisor validation website, in getting ready for the work days here, we've pushed out an update to that. And let me just pull it up here. So this is the updated advisor validation website. It has a new look. It's meant to kind of copy the look of our main NDE homepage, which that NDE homepage has a navigation menu, which you get by clicking on this icon in the upper right. But we also have added a menu that you can always see on the left here. It still has basically the same items on the menu as it ever did, which is the same as what the NSSRS website had. The big addition is that now we have the error codes functioning. At least the error codes that we have running currently are now, you can now go see what those errors are being reported about. We haven't coded every error in the new system yet. If you click on the error summary link, this tells you just all the errors that are currently turned on. So we've got a good number in there. We were really originally focused on fall data errors, but we will be adding more. And so there's one table here that shows you the number of errors you have, and also a table that kind of shows you the number of records we have in various areas. It's not, the number of records is not really as informative as maybe seeing like the number of rows you had in your old NSSRS templates. That's what you used to be able to see, but at least it gives you an idea if you could go down and look, am I sending program data? You know, you might have several hundred rows, or you might have 0. And so at least if you have 0, you can see, oh, I'm not sending any data for that. Once you click into the errors here, it basically looks the same as the old website. I'm logged in as an NDE user, so it looks a little bit different for me right now, but that should hopefully feel very familiar to everyone. In the verification report, we will continue to add new reports to this as we go. We'll just kind of pop them into the list as we get done. Recently, we've added several attendance-related reports because we want to start focusing on that. There's the excessive absenteeism, ADA and ADM. These reports are in the attendance summary. these are basically reports carried over from the old system, but coded using the new advisor data. There's also like a brand new report for calendar details, since we didn't have calendars in the old system at all. This is a brand new report just to tell you all the calendars and tracks you've submitted for all of your schools. And, you know, what days are instructional days, what days are holidays, that kind of thing. And basically, yeah, right through the end of the school year, we'll be continuing to add a lot more reports and errors. We hope to get caught up with almost everything in the NSSRS validation list of reports, hopefully as we approach the end of the year, when it will be useful for end of year testing. We'll also be adding a few more new features to the site in regards to how the errors work, but I will save that for a future meeting, since I'm not sure when that will be deployed. Some quick vendor updates. I know JMC has just started turning on the attendance data, so that is sending now. Looks like the data sent up without a big problem. So JMC districts will be able to start testing that using those new attendance validation reports I just showed you. We're still working through some issues with Power School and Infinite Campus. Recently, I know there's some issues with Power School grades data that we're aware of, that Power School's aware of. Amy just had a meeting with them. So they're working on a plan for fixes there. In Infinite Campus, I know we're looking at an issue with the use of the reporting school, now that some Infinite Campus districts are the first people to use that non-reportable schools form, which I just showed you. So now that they send data under their non-reportable schools, they also have to attach a reportable school to those students. So, and I'm working with CIC on that. So we are working through those issues.
SRS, they are attending the advisor work days also in person or online. They are saying they plan to have it ready to go for all districts to use by the data conference or just shortly after.
So in mid-April.
They're attending the work days and sharing information.
All right. Good to hear. I think that's really all I had for the agenda today. I think we scheduled our next meeting for April 18th, which is immediately after the conference, I think.
Yes. Day after.
So I guess I will probably leave that there. If anyone has any questions, anything else you'd like to talk about in Advisor, put it in the chat window, or you can unmute yourself if you want to talk.
This is Kathy O'Connell from Nebraska City. I have a question about the non-published schools, or Amy, are you there?
I believe
Yes,
it's
I'm
Amy
here.
on.
You helped us and we just set up the non-public schools
Okay.
with the alternate building ID, and so that's not going to fix what we need to upload. I still need to provide those building codes for the non-public we set up. I mean, we want them to be reported.
Right. So they're going to be because this is Nebraska City, right? I didn't hear you say.
Right. Yes.
Kathy. Okay. So in other words, you set up one for your elementary and you put that alternate code so that it matches your elementary, correct?
Yes,
Right.
correct.
So what that's going to do is it's going to, when it publishes, it actually says, oh, treat that school like it's the elementary school. What Max is referring to when he talks about this, what are you calling it, Max?
Non-reportable.
Non-reportable schools. If you don't want to see those kiddos in the dashboard, there's kind of a way around that. And to be
Oh, okay.
I don't understand the whole, because somehow, Max, you know that that's a separate school, right? Even though it comes in reports as the same school, you're able to differentiate it in the ODS.
Yeah, it was meant that you can report the kids to advisor as in your whatever non-public containing school. And also report the kid that even though he's in this school, the state wants to see them reported at this school, the elementary or whatever.
Right.
In this case. So I am not exactly sure if PowerSchool is supporting that correctly.
Okay.
I thought that they would use that alternate school number to send the reporting school, but I have not tested that yet.
Okay.
I think I did just add that non-public school under the Nebraska City. I forget what number it was, but I just added that this morning. So
Okay.
In other words, is
that
that
might be a good one to test with and see if that data can be sent.
okay? Well, so we could talk about this at our Wednesday meeting. So now that we have an
Okay.
example, yeah, so this might be an offline conversation, but yes, let's stay tuned with the mirrored schools. We might have to make some adjustments, but right now you have things set up correctly. So again, the goal here is so that if you don't necessarily want to see those kids grouped, like you need to report them for state accountability.
Yes.
No questions about that. Where
Yes.
this is going to be helpful is I don't want to see these kids when I'm in the dashboard because I don't want them to affect my overall numbers because technically they're really being educated for the most part at a non-public school.
Okay. So that's just for the dashboard.
Correct. That's the goal for the dashboard.
Okay.
So
All right.
Yeah, it's in the dashboard. You would actually see them in this non-public.
in the non-public as
containing
opposed to grouped with their own.
Okay. Okay.
It's a way
Yep.
to separate them there, but in
All
the
right.
in the state accountability world, you cannot separate them.
Okay. Perfect.
So, but excellent question. Thank you for asking that.
Got it. Thanks.
Students.
Lynn,
Validations.
should
Oh,
students who have left the district show up in our validation under the summary attendance?
Yes.
Yeah, if
there.
they were there for at least one instructional day, I assume.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would show up there. If you have a specific student that looks weird or something though, we can help check on that student's enrollment data and make sure it looks good. Please, just send us a ticket at the help email if you run into any issues. A lot of districts have noticed that we posted the new validation errors. They've been going in and testing a bunch of stuff. So we've got a bunch of tickets that have been coming in over the last couple of weeks. So we are working through those. Yeah, Angela, we are definitely not talking about another parallel year for next year at this time. We may be able to talk about your issues with some of your external courses and grades. That's on our list to talk about. Several other districts have similar issues with that. But a good portion of your data should be able to be synced now, and which I believe it is being synced currently. So I would encourage you to at least validate those pieces that are syncing currently.
We all would.
Yeah, Tricia asked the best way to validate the data. Definitely use the advisor validation website. That has the most tools there. The reports on the advisor validation website let you pick, do you want to see the data as of today or as of last fall? Usually the last Friday in September. So
Let's keep
if
in
you
mind.
switch the
Yeah.
reports to say as of last Friday in September, that should generally match the fall data you uploaded into NSSRS.
So keep in
And you can compare that way. You could also just compare between the advisor reports themselves and the student lookups themselves. If you look at your SIS and the as of today view in the advisor validation, those should match. If those numbers seem off, then usually it's because some data is not being sent up from your SIS like you expected. And you can use the lookup tools that we have on the advisor validation site to really drill into individual students. And of course, send us an email and we can help if you can't figure out what's going on.
And I would also add most student. So think about this. This is the only year that we're able to do this. So this is not a common practice. This is almost kind of like extra little bonus that you get to kind of look at your data in two different places. So in the past and moving forward, besides the tools that are available to you on the advisor validation website, a lot of times what you're doing is you're comparing those reports to what's in your student information system. And most student information systems across the board do provide you reports that are very similar to what advisor or NDE is providing you. ADA, ADM reports are common. Most of them have enrollment reports so that you can see enrollment by numbers. Things of that nature. So it's just it's a little bit of both. But a lot of that information is at your fingertips. The other thing I always recommend to districts as well is, even though you're the data steward, you can't possibly know everything. Hand out those reports to other people, the SPED directors, your superintendent, the principals, the counselors, coaches, people who need to look at that data, who know that data.
Right, anyone else? All right, I think that will do it for today, and I hope to see everyone at the conference. All right, thanks everyone.